It started as a small idea. Just something to lift my wife's spirits after what had been an emotionally and physically draining month at work. She had been snapping at every little thing, barely sleeping, and worse, doubting herself. As her husband, I couldn't watch her spiral like that. I needed to remind her that she was loved, appreciated, and celebrated. That's how the idea of a surprise barbecue was born. But not just any barbecue. I wanted something that would leave her speechless. I decided to host it on the rooftop of our apartment in Lekki. The space was perfect, wide open, great view of the skyline, and enough privacy to pull off something magical. First, I created a group chat with a few of her closest friends. It was tricky because I didn't want anyone to accidentally let it slip. I labeled the group Team BBQ, Top Secret, and warned them. If she found out before the day, I was cancelling everything. That threat worked. Next came the food. I knew she loved asun, the kind she used to eat from a woman in her old neighbourhood in Ibadan. I spent 2 full days tracking that vendor down on Instagram. Apparently, the woman had moved to Lagos and now catered full-time. I paid her up front and begged her to keep it hush-hush. Then came the jollof rice. I wasn't going to outsource that. No way. I wanted her to taste my own version. I stayed up late for several nights watching YouTube videos, taking notes like I was preparing for a JAMB exam. Suya-style grilled chicken, peppered snail, fried plantain. Everything had to be just right. Now, the aesthetics. I rented string lights, got a small Bluetooth speaker, and ordered decorations online. I even went as far as getting a portable projector to play a slideshow of our best memories. From our honeymoon in Zanzibar to random goofy selfies in traffic, I put everything together like a curated love letter. I added a small corner for mocktails, her favourite fruit punch mix, and some Chapman for flair. It was coming together better than I had imagined. Keeping the whole thing a secret was another challenge entirely. I had to lie, small white lies. I told her I was planning a hangout with the boys, that we were doing some rooftop bachelor-style bonding. She rolled her eyes at first and warned me not to burn anything. At one point, she even offered to help clean the grill. I quickly waved her off, pretending I wanted to feel manly. She didn't suspect a thing. On the day of the event, I made sure she had something to do. Her friend Kemi invited her out for a fake birthday brunch. I was sweating bullets until she finally left the house. The minute the door shut, the real operation began. I rushed upstairs with the decorations, set up the tables, tested the speakers, and coordinated the food deliveries, like a man on a mission. Her friends arrived early to help with finishing touches. We ran through the plan again. She'd come back, I'd delay her at the elevator, and then, boom, everyone would yell, "Surprise!" I checked everything twice. Lights, working, food, warm, music, loaded, guests, hidden. Just as I was adjusting the final centerpiece, my phone buzzed. Kemi messaged, "She's on her way." My heart jumped. This was it. Weeks of planning, lying, sneaking around, it all came down to this moment. The day came and my nerves were on edge. Every second felt like a countdown to a bomb I had planted myself. Everything was set. The rooftop glowed with fairy lights, casting a warm golden hue over the space. The food station was lined with steaming trays of jollof, asun, grilled chicken, peppered snails, and puff-puff in cute paper cones. Soft Afrobeat played from the Bluetooth speaker, mixing with the sounds of the city in the background. Her friends were hiding behind the drink stand, some already giggling with excitement. I stood by the elevator entrance, checking my phone every 30 seconds, waiting for the message that would mark the beginning of the big moment. Then, at exactly 7:46 p.m., my phone buzzed. Kemi's message read, "We're coming up now." 2 minutes. My heart nearly punched through my chest. I motioned for everyone to get ready. We switched off the main lights, letting only the fairy lights and lanterns glow. The music went low. Everyone took their places. I stood by the door, feigning innocence. The elevator dinged. The door slid open. She stepped out, looking slightly tired, her heels clicking softly as she stepped onto the rooftop floor. She didn't notice anything at first. She squinted into the dim lighting, probably trying to understand why there were shadows and flickers of light on a supposedly empty rooftop. She took 2 more steps forward. Then came the moment. The lights came on. The music kicked in louder with a burst of Soko by Wizkid, and everyone jumped out from their hiding spots yelling, "Surprise!" She froze, literally. Right there, her hand flew to her chest and she gasped like she had just walked into a movie. Her mouth fell open, her eyes darting across the rooftop as she took in the balloons, the setup, the food, her favourite faces. Then, her eyes landed on me. I wasn't prepared for the emotion that hit her. She didn't scream or laugh. She just stood still and, slowly, tears began to fill her eyes. "You did all this for me?" she asked in a voice barely above a whisper. I walked over, grinning like a schoolboy caught doing something good. I held her hand and kissed her forehead. "You deserve even more," I said. That was when the energy truly shifted. She burst into tears, the kind that makes everyone else emotional without even knowing why. Her best friend ran to hug her, and soon the group swarmed around her with love and excitement. She laughed through the tears, hugged everyone one by one, and took in the scene like a little girl unwrapping a long-awaited gift. We all sat down to eat. The smell of grilled suya and spiced rice filled the air. People kept going back for second and third helpings. I watched her closely. She was glowing again. Her laughter returned, full and unfiltered. She was dancing, joking, grabbing small chops and feeding her friends. We played throwback games. Who's Most Likely charades, and that hilarious Finish the Lyrics game. At one point, someone connected their phone and played our wedding song. She pulled me up and we danced right in the middle of everyone. Cheering filled the air. The rooftop lights flickered like stars above us. Just when I thought nothing could top this moment, she tugged at my hand and pulled me aside. We stood near the balcony overlooking the city lights twinkling below. The music and laughter echoed behind us. She took a deep breath, wiped the edge of her eyes, and looked up at me. "I needed this more than you'll ever understand," she said quietly. "I've been in my head a lot lately, feeling like I'm fading into a routine. Work, stress, sleep. I was beginning to feel like I was just existing. But tonight, you reminded me that I'm not invisible, that I'm still seen, still loved, still special." I swallowed hard. I hadn't expected her to say that. I wanted to speak, but she continued. "Do you know I was seriously considering taking a solo trip? Not to escape you, but to escape myself. I just felt lost. But this brought me back." I held her tightly. For a moment, we didn't say anything else. We just stood there, arms wrapped around each other, the city below, our friends behind, and something powerful blooming between us. She looked up again, a soft smile playing on her lips. "I have something to give you," she said. I raised a brow. "Now?" She nodded. "You'll want to sit for this one." But I didn't sit. I just stared, wondering what else this night had in store. Whatever it was clear. This was more than a barbecue. It was a turning point neither of us saw coming. As fireworks lit up the Lagos skyline in vibrant bursts of red, green, and gold, we stood quietly by the balcony, arms wrapped around each other. Laughter and music still echoed from behind us, but in that moment, it all faded. She looked up at me, her eyes glistening not just from the fireworks, but from something deeper, something she had been carrying for a while. I could feel it before she said a word. "I've been feeling distant," she began, her voice soft and unsteady. "Not from you, but from myself. Like I've been walking through life on autopilot. Wake up, work, come home, repeat. Even when we're together, sometimes I still feel alone." I held her hand tighter, confused but trying not to show it. She glanced down, took a deep breath, and continued. "There were days I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back, not physically but emotionally. I started to wonder if you still saw me, not just as your wife, but as someone worth all this attention, all this love." I didn't interrupt. I just listened. Her words cut deeper than she probably realized. How could she have felt this way and I didn't notice? I even thought about traveling alone, she said, chuckling bitterly. Not to leave you or break anything between us. I just wanted to find myself again. I felt lost. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to worry you or make you feel like you'd failed. I finally spoke, my voice low. You didn't have to go through that alone. You're not alone. You'll never be. She nodded slowly, tears forming again, but this time they didn't fall. She was stronger now. This night had brought her back to herself and to us. But tonight, she said, a soft smile forming on her lips, tonight reminded me that I'm loved, that I'm still seen, that I'm home. She reached into her small purse and brought out a tiny wrapped box. My first thought was that it was a thank you gift, maybe cufflinks or a wristband. I took it gently from her and unwrapped it. Inside was a tiny white baby onesie with gold embroidery that read, "Daddy loading." I stared at it, the meaning slowly sinking in. I looked up at her, speechless. My knees nearly gave way and I had to hold onto the balcony rail to steady myself. You're pregnant?" I asked, my voice breaking. She nodded, biting her bottom lip, trying hard not to cry. "I found out 2 weeks ago. I was waiting for the right moment to tell you, but after what you did tonight, I knew. This is it. This is the moment." I didn't even realize I was crying until she reached out to wipe my cheeks. I laughed and cried at the same time, completely overwhelmed. We hugged tightly, and I kissed her forehead again and again. That moment, that perfect little box, turned an already unforgettable night into something sacred. The fireworks exploded again in the sky, but the real explosion happened in my heart. The surprise barbecue had started as a way to cheer her up, to make her feel loved again. I never imagined it would become the beginning of a whole new chapter. We stood there for a long time, just holding each other. The music, the lights, the laughter, it all became background noise. Everything else faded, and all that remained was the future we had just discovered, wrapped in a tiny onesie, promising love, hope, and a new life we were about to welcome into our world. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more teachable and inspiring folk tales by FE.